Welcome back to Exposed. Before the break, we were discussing technology, well, particularly texting's effect on language amongst our youth. And I guess now we're going to try and continue that and talk about ambiguity of text messaging.
Yeah, so I don't know, did you ever get a text and you read it and you're like, you don't know if you're like, I guess, understanding it completely?
Yeah.
And what the person is meaning, whether they're trying to be funny or mad or...
Well, I guess because you can't hear the person's tone behind it, so you don't know what they're thinking. Like once in a while, sometimes they'll put like a little smiley and or a mad face, and they'll be like, "Okay, I kind of get what you're talking about." But
the A like at symbol, like angry, but yeah, I think that's one thing. If people don't use like LOLs everywhere, and I think like you're not sure if like, oh, well, that sounds kind of funny, but wait, are they being sarcastic?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
And I think that's why so many people just throw LOLs everywhere in text. Like you could have one sentence, but it starts with an LOL, then there's your sentence, and there's a couple in there, and then it ends with one.
And then there's that little pea face, like. Bleh.
Yeah.
Well, I think in terms of like the ambiguity, it's not so much that I don't understand what they're getting at, because yeah, I've experienced that, but it's more people don't understand what I'm trying to say. Because like even talking on MSN and stuff, I'd say something, and then the person that I'm talking to, they take it like as if I'm angry, or they're like, "Are you not in a good mood? You don't sound like you're in a good mood today." I'm like, how can you hear what I sound like?
Even if you just say like hi.
Exactly. What's wrong?
Something wrong? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That happens often to me. And it's just, after that happens, then I'm in a bad mood, because it's like, well, what did I say? What did I type?
I guess that's why people should learn to make phone calls.
Well, yeah, that's one of,
or have like serious conversations.
that's one of my rules that, yeah, no, when I'm trying to have a real conversation with someone, or if I want to confront someone about something, I make a point of saying, I either call them or I say, you call me, tell me where you want to meet, or talk to me over the phone if you don't want to talk to my face. Because when you start sending messages back and forth to each other, or talking through MSN and trying to fight for who gets to type first, like I think it's really immature.
And then it's just like, also, you don't, I mean, if you're sending like these mass like paragraphs of like text, and then they just keep going and going, and then that person like misses one of them or misses one point, and then it's like continuing. And you know how some phones, like there's a delay when it's such a long message, they get it in two parts, doubles. Or you get the last one first.
Yeah,
my phone's like that, and it's so annoying.
It's also often worse. I'm thinking of Facebook messages if people are, trying to solve their issues over there. Facebook is so easy to just document your thoughts right away. They're not refined, nothing. They're just plain raw
impulsive
thoughts, and it's impulsive. And it's kind of rude, actually, to do that. Because when you're speaking to someone, I mean, unless you have a very bad temper, you are going to conduct yourself in a different way. And then the argument's probably going to get resolved a lot better and easier as a result.
Oh, yeah, and that's why, I mean, it's so easy to, I guess, hide behind a computer screen or, your phone. But, and I see the side where it's easier to maybe, like, approach someone about an issue over Facebook or something like that. But it completely has like the possibility to like get out of control, and then
blown out of proportion more so than it needs to be, because a conversation could last 5 minutes, you could make up and everything is okay, whereas on Facebook you're just firing your points one after the other of why you're right, and like that person says one little thing, and then like it's in my mind it's simpler to just sit down and have a conversation. It's scary, but it's simpler.
I mean, that's I guess the scary aspect is why people, I guess, choose not to. And I guess why it's so popular to do all these like Facebook wars on
like for pictures
or status wars, or like writing through messages.
Even, like people in Ganawage, like there's a lot of people who will add other people from Ganawage, and not necessarily their friends, and it's like whatever if you want to do that, but you'll have like your frenemies or stuff like that. And I'm not just talking about like teenagers or youth, but grown adults in Ganawage, and they're arguing over like something ridiculous on Facebook, like just to like, it's like a pissing contest between some people.
It just shows how much of an effect it has, like not only on our age and even kids, but adults. It's such a big impact. All of this, our portals. Our portals are very impacting.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like Twitter. It's only 160 character limit.
Yeah, but even that, then because of the, you know, the low character whatever allowance of like Twitter, it's, if you want to say something and it's too long, then you end up shorting the words and like writing just the letter U instead of like YOU, and you get kind of more into the whole back to the not spelling things right, and you know, and then it's like 140 characters. So
Well, regardless of whether people use Twitter or like Facebook to do their ranting or their like fighting, or there's just like for a pastime, you like can't deny that it is like a pastime for like so many youth. I mean, is it like, it's I think it would be rare to meet someone who is around our age who doesn't have at least one form of those, like whether it's a Facebook account or a Twitter account, or if they're still attached to MySpace, or if they use like MSN, or
even just a cell phone. It's impressive when I meet somebody who doesn't have a cell phone still. I'm like, I really want to be your friend. I want to call your house.
And,
I
like,
get
leave
excited.
messages like hi, Mrs.
We could have a grand old friendship.
But
Yeah.
I mean, it just shows like how much technology has really affected us, right? And I mean, I think another one of the things...
And that's just like technology in terms of communication.
Exactly. And on the other note too, I mean, I don't know how many of you actually play video games, but I know it's kind of in response to exactly what the woman that approached me was mentioning, is that how much of an impact it has on her kids, that they would much rather be playing video games than being outside. So I think, I mean, what's your opinion on video games, I guess?
well, I think to an extent, like, I understand why, you know, I mean, I'm assuming, you know, well, I never really played video games, but, you know, I see a lot of my younger cousins, they're really young and they're, like, always in front of TV with, like, you know, paddles and stuff, but I understand why, you know, why they play them and why, you know, because it's just, like, it's entertainment for them, and their parents are just like, well, you know, well, I don't have to entertain him here, just here's the TV and like a video game, and whatever, 8 hours later, you know, they don't really have, it's like they're having video games babysit their children, basically, I think.
If I were a parent, I'd actually want more of the entertainment for my children when I'm not available to, you know, be provided elsewhere. Like, just get involved in something, take up an instrument, or seriously, whatever happened to reading books for fun?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really difficult, especially being in university and having read like 20 books this semester, to just go and read another book for fun. But, you know, it can be done. They are entertaining. It takes a little time, and I guess it's just not the same stimuli that you receive from video games, so it doesn't have the same appeal.
Well, that's what in like the past like few years too, like the technology in video games. You know, you'll look at like some things and it like looks almost like so realistic. It's like in terms of like the graphics and stuff like that. But I mean, we didn't grow up playing video games as kids. Like the first and only thing was Game Boy Color in 1998. That we got for like Christmas or something, and we were like, oh my god, yeah, but then we didn't get anything like the Game Boy Advance and like all that stuff that followed.
Yeah, just that we didn't,
like
I still had those games.
She still plays hers sometimes.
Occasionally. It's,
I play my Super Nintendo still too. I get excited because everyone else has an Xbox or like a PlayStation 3. I'm like, yeah, I'm playing Donkey Kong Jr., okay, on my Super Nintendo from 1996.
But that's what, like, when I was, like, when we were younger and I'd go to, like, you know, your cousin's house or my grandma's, and they had, like, an Atari and, like, that old school, like, Nintendo 64, and, like, used to, like, that was exciting, and especially when you go to a friend's house that had video games, because it's not that, I don't think it wasn't necessarily allowed, but, just, whether we weren't, like, that into them or whatever, but, we'll talk more about video games after the break.